Imagine two professionals working in the exact same corporate division. The first earns a substantial salary, yet operates under constant background panic. Every bonus is immediately consumed by lifestyle inflation. Every performance review feels like a trial, and their net worth is entirely tethered to a single monthly payroll deposit. They are one reorg, one toxic manager, or one bad quarter away from complete financial vulnerability. Now look at the second professional. They sit in the same status meetings, respond to the same emails, and navigate the same office politics. But behind their quiet, unassuming exterior, they possess absolute leverage. They don't track market swings, they don't engage in conspicuous consumption, and they never sweat a surprise performance improvement plan. They are quietly accumulating real, permanent assets while the rest of the floor is running on a high-stress, low-equity hamster wheel. Most people believe that building wealth requires high-risk market plays, exhausting side hustles, or landing an executive title that demands 80-hour work weeks. We are conditioned by corporate culture to think that financial power is loud, that it manifests as elevated titles, visible luxury, and public status. But this belief is a deliberate trap designed to keep you trapped in the labor cycle. What if the most effective system for financial independence isn't about earning more to spend more, but about rewiring how you absorb, protect, and deploy your capital through hyper-disciplined, silent operating principles? If you want to stop getting blindsided by workplace systems nobody explains, subscribe. The corporate ecosystem relies on a specific psychological mechanism, lifestyle leverage. The system wants you to convert every raise into a higher mortgage, a newer car, and more expensive subscriptions. Why? Because an employee with high fixed overhead is an obedient employee. When your monthly liabilities match your elevated income, your risk tolerance drops to zero. You can't challenge bad decisions, you can't refuse unreasonable travel, and you certainly can't walk away when office politics turn toxic. You become structurally dependent on the machine. Quiet wealth is the systematic destruction of this leverage loop. It is not about cheapness or extreme austerity. It is about building a structural moat between your income and your existence. Long before Western financial influencers started talking about independence, Japanese operational philosophy and cultural frameworks perfected the science of friction-free, stressless capital accumulation. These are not mystical concepts. They are cold, structural habits designed to insulate an individual from corporate extraction. The first habit is Kakeibo, or the friction audit. Most professionals use automated budgeting apps that categorize spending after it happens. This creates a psychological disconnect. You review a spreadsheet at the end of the month, feel mild regret, and repeat the cycle. Kakeibo requires manual, deliberate recording of every financial outflow before or as it occurs, specifically evaluating the emotional trigger behind the transaction. In a workplace context, high-stress environments trigger compensatory spending, ordering expensive takeaway because you worked late, or buying luxury items to reward yourself for surviving a brutal week. Kakeibo forces you to ask, is this purchase solving a problem, or is it just anesthetizing corporate fatigue? By introducing friction into the transaction, you cut off the stress spending pipeline at the source. The second habit is Mottainai, the refusal of resource decay. In the modern corporate world, waste isn't just throwing things away, it is the silent leak of unutilized capital. It is paying for premium services you don't use, letting unused PTO expire, or failing to optimize your tax allowances and company matches. Mottainai is a deep-seated intolerance for letting acquired energy, which money represents, evaporate through negligence. The corporate system profits off your fatigue-induced inattention. When you are too tired to review your subscription stack or optimize your asset allocation, the market quietly extracts your wealth. Eliminating resource decay isn't about saving pennies. It's about plugging the hull of your financial ship so water can't leak in while you're busy navigating office politics. This brings us to the third mechanism, danshari, or systemic overhead reduction. In corporate strategy, lean operations win over bloated legacy systems every single time. Danshari applies this same logic to your personal balance sheet. It is the practice of systematically pruning unnecessary possessions, commitments, and financial complexity. When you simplify your physical and operational life, your burn rate drops precipitously. A low burn rate is the ultimate workplace superweapon. The manager who knows you have 2 years of liquid reserves in the bank speaks to you differently than the manager who knows you are 2 missed paychecks away from default. Donchari gives you structural immunity against corporate coercion. What makes these habits so potent is how they interact with human psychology. There is a second layer to this that most career professionals never realize. Performance is directly tied to your perceived need for the job. When you operate from a position of quiet, hidden financial security, your posture in the workplace changes unconsciously. You speak with lower vocal variance. You offer objective, unvarnished business assessments rather than desperate, pleasing answers. You don't engage in petty political turf wars because you aren't fighting for survival. You are playing an optional game. Ironically, the corporate system often rewards this specific demeanor with faster promotions and higher compensation, mistaking your financial detachment for executive presence. By caring less about the immediate paycheck because you have built quiet wealth behind the scenes, you become more valuable to the organization. The fourth habit is ikigai alignment, stripped of its trendy wellness branding and viewed through pure economic efficiency. When people pursue careers purely for prestige, they experience high internal friction, leading to severe burnout and high burnout recovery spending. Ikigai in a pragmatic sense means finding the intersection of what you are naturally competent at, what the market pays for, and what causes you the least internal psychological drag. When your job aligns with low psychological drag, you don't need expensive vacations to recover from your life, nor do you spend heavily on weekend escapism. Your baseline operating cost drops because your daily work doesn't drain your soul to the point of bankruptcy. The fifth habit is gaman, or strategic emotional endurance. In corporate environments, emotional volatility is expensive. Blowing up at a director, rage quitting without a pipeline, or making impulsive career pivots out of frustration costs hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime earning potential. Gaman is the disciplined practice of remaining calm, silent, and strategic under temporary duress. It is recognizing that an uncomfortable workplace situation is simply a localized data point, not an existential crisis. You endure the temporary friction quietly while executing your background exit or wealth strategy in the shadows, never letting corporate drama disrupt your long-term capital trajectory. The sixth habit is kaizen, applied to personal balance sheets. Most people attempt radical, high-stress financial overhauls. They decide to cut their expenses by 50% overnight or try day trading volatile assets. These high-variance moves almost always fail due to fatigue. Kaizen dictates micro-optimizations, improving your savings rate by 1% every quarter, reducing fixed recurring costs by small increments, or automating micro-transfers into low-cost index funds daily. Over a 5-year horizon, these invisible, zero-stress adjustments compound into massive financial moats without ever triggering the brain's threat response or disrupting your lifestyle quality. The seventh habit is shokunin, the mastery of quiet craftsmanship over self-promotion. In modern corporate culture, visibility tactics and personal branding are heavily hyped. But personal branding without elite, indispensable execution is fragile. Shokunin is the obsessive focus on developing high-value, hard-to-replace technical skills. When your output is undeniably superior, you eliminate the need to play high-stress political games to justify your retention. You build deep, defensible skill equity. This operational competence guarantees your market rate remains high, regardless of macroeconomic downturns or internal company reorgs. The eighth habit is hara hachibu, traditionally the rule of eating until you are 80% full, applied directly to financial capacity. Never operate at 100% of your earning or spending capacity. If your household earns $200,000, structure your lifestyle as if you earn $160,000. The remaining 20% is your permanent operational buffer. This buffer absorbs surprise medical bills, sudden layoffs, market dips, or emergency transitions without causing a single spike in your cortisol levels. Living at 80% capacity converts market volatility from a crisis into a discounted buying opportunity. The ninth and final habit is wabi-sabi, the appreciation of non-conspicuous sufficiency. The largest drain on modern professional wealth is the arms race of visible success, upgrading houses, buying luxury vehicles, and sporting designer labels to project status to peers who aren't paying your bills. Wabi-sabi teaches the deep, aesthetic value of simplicity, durability, and understatement. When you derive zero psychological utility from displaying status, you disarm the corporate trap completely. You become invisible to the signaling games that keep your colleagues trapped on the corporate ladder well into their 60s. When you fail to implement a silent wealth strategy, the quiet consequences compound over decades. You end up trapped in salary stagnation because you lack the financial runway to negotiate aggressively or switch companies. You accept unpaid extra labor and toxic management behavior because your liabilities prevent you from setting boundaries. You endure career delays, locked into a high-stress trajectory simply to maintain an elevated burn rate that doesn't actually make you happy. You become an asset for the corporation, but a liability to your future self. The ultimate reframe is simple. Wealth is not what you spend, what you wear, or the title printed on your corporate ID badge. Real wealth is the margin between your overhead and your income, converted into complete ownership of your time. The corporate system is explicitly designed to minimize that margin by encouraging you to trade your freedom for temporary status signals. When you strip away the noise, stop participating in the status competition, and quietly engineer your financial life through disciplined, friction-free habits, the power dynamic flips entirely. You stop working for the machine, and the machine starts funding your autonomy. The system will always offer what it thinks you'll accept. The moment you no longer need their money to survive, you own the room.